Blue is the coldest color in anime, but the ones who emit it, they're often the ones hiding the most. Blue is the color of restraint, repression, stillness built from pain. And when it cracks, everything shatters. It's the aura that frees the world just to survive. But here's what you might not realize. And by the end of the video, you know if blue is your aura. Because aura isn't just a visual, it's the reflection of the soul. This video isn't just about anime, it's about understanding how you handle chaos, how you protect your peace, and how the emotions you hide shape the power you carry. This is Blue Aura. Let's find out if it's yours. Blue isn't like red. It doesn't scream for attention. It chills, it sharpens, it steadies. In anime, Blue Aura doesn't just signal power, it signals control. It's the moment a character stops reacting and starts responding. From ice users, calm strategists, isolated prodigies. When blue fills the screen, something calculated is about to happen. But don't mistake stillness for weakness. Blue aura is the pressure right before the storm. The calm of someone who's been here before and already knows how it ends. No other aura captures that weight of silence, duty, and suppressed emotion like blue. Its power wrapped in calm, resolve hidden behind cold eyes. But understand this, when a character shows off their blue aura, it means one thing. They've already made peace with the pain and they're still moving forward. Just like how red is best shown through fire, there's no better element to carry the spirit of blue than ice. It's the yang to its yin. Ice shields you, numbs you, forces you to stay composed, even when everything inside wants to break. It's not cold for the sake of cruelty. It's cold because feeling everything would hurt way too much. But ice isn't just defense, it's stoicism. It's the element of control, of shaping your environment before it shapes you. To wield ice is to demand the fight happens on your terms and never your enemies. It reflects an inner stillness, a mind striving to stay whole in a world that pulls it apart. And when the control is mastered, ice becomes creation, which allows the user to manifest their will upon the world, the will they've kept in for so long. It's their freedom and identity brought into reality. Enter Toshiro Hitsugaya, the pressure of perfection. For Toshiro, his blue aura is responsibility. A child prodigy, burdened by rank, power, and expectations far beyond his years. His ice isn't wild or chaotic. It's exact, control, composed. Because when the world puts pressure on you to lead, to protect, to always have it together, you don't get to make mistakes. You only get to hold everything in. Toshiro's ice is discipline forged under pressure. It's not that he doesn't feel, it's that he's careful of what he does allow to feel. Blue here is burden. It's silent weight of expectation that frees that person from the inside out. But eventually, even the coldest hearts melt. And when that happens, control is no longer just a weapon. It becomes a shield for the people you refused to let down. Toshiro's ice is elegant, a reflection of someone forced to carry a responsibility far beyond his years. He leads with composure, not because he doesn't feel, because feeling too much would break the mask he's built to protect himself. But what happens when control isn't taught, but it's self-imposed? Enter Grey Fullbuster, the mask of cool. Grey's ice is deflection. On the surface, he's calm, smooth, and always composed. But dig deeper, and it's grief, frozen, and loss buried. He uses jokes to keep people out, strength to hold himself together, and silence to hide what still is healing. Blue horror represents his grief, wearing a smile. Grey doesn't unleash ice to feel strong. He creates distance, a buffer between who he is and what he's afraid to feel. But his greatest growth wasn't unlocking more power, it was letting people in. Realizing that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's warmth in a world that taught him to be cold. Grey's ice was grief, sculptured by loss, but driven by love. His silence wasn't distance, it was longing. A hope that someone, someday, would understand him without needing words. His ice was the barrier between himself and the pain, but also the bridge that connects again when it's finally ready. But not all ice is born from longing. Sometimes it's forged from rejection. Enter Shoto Todoroki, the battle within. Todoroki's ice is rebellion, not against the world, but against the man who made him. His power was supposed to be a legacy, but he turned it into a statement. Every time he used ice, he chose to reject the fire forced upon him. Blue aura here represents his identity reclaimed. But identity isn't just found in rejection alone. It's found in integration. Todoroki didn't become whole until he stopped running from his flames and learned to embrace all of who he was. Blue aura here also represents resistance at its core. The kind that doesn't just say no, but eventually finds its own yes. Grey and Shoto both show us how ice can be emotional. A rebellion, a wound, a form of self-protection. But ice has another form, and some would say its true form. Because if fire is the yang, passion, rage, and unfiltered heat, then ice is the yin. It doesn't flare up, it freezes over. It doesn't fight loud, it endures quiet. When fire is driven by feeling, ice moves with control, distance, and precision. Nowhere is that clearer than with Esdeath and Kuzan. Enter Esdeath, the illusion of control. Esdeath is the dark side of Blue aura. Her ice is absolute, unyielding. She believes strength is control and love is domination. She doesn't just repress her emotions, she weaponizes them. Blue aura here represents detachment taken to the extreme. But beneath the cruelty lies a broken ideology. That pain is weakness, that love must be owned. She doesn't understand vulnerability because she herself never received it. Esdeath shows us what happens when control becomes fear. When you freeze your heart so thoroughly, you forget what warmth ever felt like. Enter Kuzan, cold clarity. If Esdeath represents what happens when you freeze emotion to avoid pain, then Kuzan is what happens when you freeze emotion to understand truth. His ice isn't a weapon of control, it's a tool of distance, a quiet rebellion against a system that rewards brutality. Where Esdeath uses coldness to dominate, Kuzan uses it to observe. Blue aura here also represents detachment, but with purpose. Not to hurt, but to see clearly. To step back when the world burns and ask, is this really justice? But clarity without conviction is its own danger. You can only stay neutral for so long before your silence becomes a choice too. Kuzan's ice isn't born of cruelty, but of exhaustion, his lazy justice. From a man who's seen too much and feels too much to show it. Where Esdeath freezes her heart to avoid vulnerability, Kuzan freezes his to protect what little hope he has left. One chooses ice to control others, the other chose ice to not be controlled by others. Blue isn't just control, it's contained emotion. When you see blue aura in anime, you're not just watching a technique, you're watching someone who's been holding back for far too long. It's Gray, the boy who lost everything, freezing his grief so no one else would have to feel his pain. It's Todoroki, born from heat and hatred, choosing the cold because it's the only part of himself that doesn't burn. It's Toshiro, the child prodigy burdened by power, shouldering responsibility with a face too young to wear it. It's Esdeath, convinced that strength means solitude, wielding ice not as expression, but as an armor against the world she refuses to trust. And it's Kuzan, walking away from justice because the system felt colder than the ice he commands. And maybe you felt your own version too. The pressure to stay composed, the fear that if you finally let it all out, you'd lose control. The ache of being the strong one because no one else can be. Blue isn't simple coldness. It's everything that's been buried, everything you've locked away just to make it through the day. So when you see blue aura show up, you're not just seeing a technique, you're seeing a silence melt. You're seeing someone finally releasing what they thought they had to carry alone. And maybe for the first time, they'll feel free. So if any of this resonates with you, ask yourself, what have I been holding in? What parts of me have I kept frozen just to survive? And what would it feel like to finally let go? Because blue isn't about staying cold, it's about choosing peace without losing your edge. It's about restraint, not repression. And when you learn to wield that silence, that's when the world starts to listen. And that was the video for today. If this resonates with you, tell me in the comments, would your aura be blue? Let me know why and join your fellow blue aura brethren. If it's not blue, stick around. The next aura might be yours. If you're new here, welcome to Blessed Visions, where anime isn't just watched, it's felt.